About 6:30. Found this campsite. I think it's a little after what was called Pipe Spring. I think the next water source. There was a guy there. I think his name was Zeke. It was something with a Z. From Kansas City. There was a couple other hikers that came by to get water. Because you're hiking down this river, deep creek, but the trail stays way high above it. It's pretty torturous as far as if you need some water. It's a beautiful trail, but it's not very enjoyable to hike, at least in certain circumstances. Probably if you were not tired and dehydrated, it would be fine. I mean, you're just on the side of that canyon, so there's no rhyme or reason to the elevation gain and loss, other than they're trying to stay away from the rock outcroppings. So sometimes they go way high. Sun was already coming up around before 5. It's going to be a hot one today. Yesterday I noticed, it was the evening and it wasn't cooling down, and my Snickers bars were melted, and made me realize I've descended from the mountains, so getting into some pretty warm temperatures here. First time for me on Section C. When I started last week, I pretty much climbed out of the desert, and it was like there was a cooling trend at the time, so I was lucky on that end. I spent a little time in the Deep Creek Hotsprings. I just stayed in one of the pools. I think it's the warmest one. There's one over here they call the Womb. I guess it's near, there's some palm trees. Can't stay here too much, so can't explore all of the pools. I met a guy who's been here 7 weeks. He says he hikes out every week or so to get food. I met a guy, trail named Balloons, and then Sachi was there, and then another guy, Yard Sale. They'll probably pass me in a minute. One last look at the Hot Springs area. There goes my friend Balloons. He's from Guadalajara. There's a trail on the other side. Someone went through a lot of trouble with it. Got some more water down at that beach. There's a couple trails before the bridge. One less steep. Dropped my pack on the less steep trail and then came up the steeper one. It was more obvious on the steeper one where the beach was. But there's a lot of poison oak down there, so you gotta pick your route. Gonna come down the trail and then through those tall bushes. Looks like we're ending this section of the Deep Creek. It's a really cool air coming through here. See some people walking on top of the dam. break here at this crossing. Pretty interesting. I don't know what's going on in that tunnel. Well, that was a nice, much needed rest in the shade there. Didn't realize how much I wanted it until I laid on that rock. Yeah, it's a hot one today. Trying to get to Grass Valley Creek. There might be another water source before that too. At 6:40 p.m. I was down here at this Grass Valley Creek. Spent a lot of time here. There's like a group here when I got here, and then they left, and then two other single parties came by, one after another in serial fashion. So I've been here. There's three groups passed by. It's kind of like a train station. But yeah, the first group pushed on. They were going to go 10 miles to the Cleghorn, because that's pretty much, we figured that's where the next water source is. So I think I'm going to push on, but I don't think I'm going to go 10 miles. Yeah, but then the two single party, the one guy was a Boy Scout, and then the other guy was Brent. And Brent started the day at the top of Deep Creek, so he already went 19 miles. And he said, after I told him about the other groups, he's like, oh, well, I need to go too then. So he might do 29 miles, we'll see. But I'm gonna do a little more. I'm carrying 4.75 liters. Because today, it's kind of maybe want to have some water. So it kind of slows you down with the water, but at the same time, don't want to be without it for 10 miles.